Distinguished viewers out there, I want to specially welcome you to this episode of our broadcast. I want to use this medium to appreciate all our viewers who have been going through all our presentations and not just going through, but also making informed decisions based on the teachings that we have been dishing out all along on this platform. On this note, I want to welcome you again to this wonderful section where we're going to be discussing some vital issues as far as the agro real estate is concerned. I remain your friend, your brother, Emmanuel Ogbinaka, an agricultural consultant, specific soil science and land management. And wish to say that I'm delighted to be affiliated to this reputable organization, the Silvawell Limited and Agro Real Estate, which of course I have mentioned that they are way ahead of the nominal or the traditional real estate business. We've actually had series of discussions previously on issues that borders on the agro real estate, on issues that borders on the choice of the oil palm as a crop to be integrated with the real estate business. And on this note, I wish to appeal to our viewers out there to do subscribe to our YouTube channel, go to all our social media platforms, Facebook, and get all the necessary information that you need to have to make an informed decision as long and as far as the agro real estate business is concerned. Tonight we're going to be looking at an important topic, which are common mistakes that most persons make when it comes to agro real estate. Common mistakes that persons may make. It could be investors, it could be the farmers themselves. Common mistakes, and how to avoid these mistakes is going to form the center of our discussion this evening. Precisely, I'm going to be giving us 10 common mistakes to avoid in agro real estate. I'm aware of the fact that the agro real estate is a kind of a massive improvement on the traditional real estate, and most persons will wish to go into this system of the real estate business because of the promising side, the prospect in this new innovation, and because of this, some persons will want to invest in this sector. But it is good for us to understand some common mistakes so that we will know also how to avoid these mistakes in order to get the necessary return on our investment. So it is interesting to note that the agro real estate is a thriving and lucrative business. No doubt that is the fact, and so people want to invest in it, people want to embrace it, people want to go into this sector. Permit me to recall or refresh your memory that the agro real estate business is a business that integrates agriculture with the nominal real estate. So in the agro real estate, the focus is not just getting of land or selling of land, but we are also looking at how to put the land into productive use by way of diversified investment in order for the investor to get maximum profit on his investment. And so because of that, agriculture is related to this business. And so we need to understand some basic things and also to avoid some basic mistakes. Practicing and intending operators in this sector should avoid the following 10. So for those that are already into this business, and for those intending to embrace this business, and for potential investors who wish to invest into the agro real estate business, we need to understand and avoid these 10 mistakes. Mistake number one is ignoring land classification or zoning. The agro real estate is not just a business that anybody will just wake up and want to dive into, get a land anywhere you find the land, and then begin to carry out your operations. Your activity must conform to the laws of the land. And so the first mistake that most persons make is just to get a land anywhere they feel they can get a land. But every society has what we call land classification or zoning. There are particular area of land that have been marked out for different purposes. And so the mistake of jumping into any available land to carry out this practice is not too ideal. And that is why that mistake is to be avoided. And so before one goes into the agro real estate, a proper research has to be carried out to know the zone or the land classification, to find out about the available space or area of land that is to be used for this purpose. Is it meant for that particular purpose? Land classification and zoning must be put into consideration so that you don't end up investing in an area where your practices may not be sustainable because of what that geographical location have been marked out for. So the first mistake that most persons make when it comes to this agro real estate business is to ignore land zoning. The second mistake that most persons also make is to ignore location and soil quality. Of course, now we are not just talking about the nominal real estate. Here we are integrating agriculture with the nominal real estate. And therefore, the location matters a lot. Then the quality of the land also matters. And so we are not just looking for a cheap land to get, but you are also putting into consideration, rather, the soil quality of that area that will support the agriculture aspect of the business. And so the second common mistake that most persons make is to ignore location. Location matters, and the soil quality also matter. So if you are thinking of getting an area of land for an investment such as this that has to do with the integration of agriculture, then you must choose a land that is located in an environment that can support agricultural purposes, and also to ensure that the quality of the soil in that environment is the one that will also support the agricultural purpose. And this can be done by subjecting the land to series of soil tests to know if the land is suitable for that purpose. Another common mistake that most persons also make is the choice of unsuitable land. The choice of unsuitable land for these purposes. Not all land, as far as agriculture is concerned, is suitable for such practice. You have to check the topography of the land. Is the land slopey? Is the land flood prone? You have to look at the suitability of the land for such purpose. Agriculture is beyond the traditional system that has been in operation, where you just want to go into an available land and get your crops planted, and then you just do some probability calculations and all of those things. No, it is far beyond that. And so the mistake of choosing unsuitable land for this practice is a mistake that should be avoided. And then let's look at another mistake, the fourth mistake that most farmers or investors also make is the mistake of choosing flood-prone areas. Flood-prone areas. Of course, before now, we've used a section to actually discuss on the issue of climate change, and we, like I said in our previous broadcast, that the issue of climate change has been made evident or seen in two major parameters, and that is change in temperature, looking at the hotness of our environment, and also looking at the irregular pattern of rainfall, and then talking about the global warming and all of those things, the flood that comes with it. And we have seen situations where people invest millions of naira into agriculture, and at the end of it, you have the entire farm swept out by flood and all of those things. This is because of the poor choice made in choosing a particular area that is suitable for that purpose. And that is why I'll keep saying that the Silvawell Limited is a company that has this foresight into what we are discussing right now in choosing a particular land location that is not prone to this natural disaster, which is in most cases now is becoming inevitable because of the incidents or the issue related to climate change. And so the mistake of choosing a location or land that have not been carefully studied if it is prone to this natural disaster is a mistake that is very costly, because it could have all your investment wasted if this mistake is not avoided. Another mistake I want our viewer out there to know about in making up their mind to invest in this lucrative business is the choice of high risk crop. We spent time to discussing on the best crop to integrate with the real estate, and then we took time to look at one of the most important or suitable crop for that purpose, which is the oil palm. And we gave a lot of reason why the oil palm is most suitable for this purpose of integration. Yes, because this is as a result of excessive feasibility study and careful research to knowing crops with low risk. And then so the mistake that most farmers or intending or potential investors will make is to choose high risk crop. Now, all crops are good. All crops have beneficial role and then good things or positive side of it. But we are talking about business, we are talking about investment, we are talking about reliable investment that you can go into, and then you have your ROI, which is return on investment. You wouldn't want to put your millions or your thousands on an investment and then you run at loss. And most persons have actually had problem with not even being able to get back their investment because of the choice of wrong crops, or what I would call high risk crop. So one of the mistake, like I said, that most persons will make is just to choose any crop they feel they wish to cultivate without really carefully observing and doing a research on the risk that is associated with those crops. And it's the reason why we advocate for the oil palm and then other crops which can be intercrop with the oil palm, as we are going to be discussing in another section of this broadcast. And so the choice of high risk crops, mostly these arable crops, is not ideal as a choice crop to integrate with the agro real estate, because the risk associated with these crops may not really give you a return on your investment. Now, another mistake that should be avoided in the agro real estate business is the choice of what I call unsuitable crop for specific microclimate. Now, like I said, most of this decision that has to do with agriculture is far beyond what we used to have in the traditional farming system. Like I said, where decisions are made without proper research and proper feasibility study to know if what you are investing into is capable of giving you back what you are investing into it. And so one of the mistakes is to choose crops that are unsuitable for specific microclimate. One thing that most people don't know is the fact that they don't know that crops that are planted in a particular area and it does well in that area may not necessarily do well in another area. So in other words, what I'm saying that crops are climate specific. So in making decision or choice of crop to be integrated with the real estate, that one must be able to, through research, find out crops that are suitable to that microclimate. Like when we started with the integration of the oil palm in our previous broadcast, I said something about the Silvawell, that this was actually put into consideration. And the choice of the oil palm to integrate with the real estate is a choice that is born out of thorough research to know that this crop is well supported in this microclimate or geopolitical zone of the country. And so the mistake most persons make is that they think they can just plant any crop in any place called land, where as far as there's soil, and then they can just plant. No, not all crops are supported in all places. There are crops that are specific to a particular environment because of the microclimate in that environment. And then another mistake which I want to talk about, the seventh mistake that most people also make, farmers, investors alike, is the choice of unmarketable crop. The choice of unmarketable crop. I've seen a situation whereby people go into invest into agriculture, choose a particular crop, and then don't really know the reason or why the choice of such crops, and they leave an aspect out of it, because all of these thing has to do with thorough research. Like I've said, you must do your feasibility study, looking at the area you are dealing with and looking at the crop you are choosing to cultivate. And so the mistake of not doing proper research as regard the marketing of a particular choice crop is something I would like to say or call a disaster. Because if you end up producing a particular crop that has no market, it's as good as not going into such an investment. And so that is why we talked about the oil palm, and then we had time to talk about the high demand for its products and all of that. So the mistake of choosing crops that are unmarketable, that the farmer will find difficult to market, crops that do not have a market for, or crops that you have to start going extra miles, sourcing for buyers, is not ideal. It's not a crop that will give you the needed return on investment. So the mistake of choosing a marketable crop is a costly mistake that should be avoided. And that is why we talked about the oil palm, which has both local and international market, and which has high demand for its product, seeing the usefulness of its products, and looking at how the product gotten from it has not even been able to satisfy the local demand, not to talk of the international demand. So you must be able to do a feasibility study to know the crop you are planning of cultivating or integrating with the real estate business. Is it a crop that has market? Does it have ready market for its product? Is a question that ought to be answered. Another mistake, common mistake that most farmers also make or investors make is not working with agricultural consultant. Not working with agricultural consultant. And if there's one thing I love about the Silvawell Limited is their drive for knowledge and drive for research to ensure that they guarantee every single investment that is put into their coffer. And that is the way to go. And so the mistake that most persons make, they just believe that is a simple thing, go into it and just make decisions without finding out from reliable source way to go is a costly mistake. So the mistake of not working with agricultural consultants to get the needed knowledge and technical know-how how to go about the business is a mistake that ought and should be avoided. And then the ninth mistake which I want to discuss about is ignoring long-term accessibility. Ignoring long-term accessibility. Now, the agro real estate, like we saw from the beginning, is, you must not forget the fact that it's a combination of two things, the real estate and agriculture. It's not purely into agriculture and not purely real estate. And so therefore, you must understand that accessibility to your land is a key factor to consider. So even though you are going to be integrating agriculture into it, you must not also ignore the fact that in the long run, the land is the primary asset. And so in your choice of location, in your choice of land, you must also put into consideration the long-term accessibility. So even after the agricultural aspect of it, in few years to come or in many years to come, will that location be accessible? Will development meet up with that location? Will the value of land in that location increase per time? So we must not rule this out. We must not rule this out. So because from the beginning, I said something in the agro real estate that is a kind of diversified investment whereby you're not just waiting or you get a land and you're waiting for the land to just increase in value. But we're also saying that in that period of waiting, you can integrate something into the land that will also give you some return on your investment while you wait for the increased value of that land. And so you cannot completely rule out the land. So that is why the thought of future accessibility of such choice land is very vital in making your decision. And then lastly, the 10 common mistake that most farmers or investors could also make is ignoring sustainability. Ignoring sustainability. If you look at our previous broadcasts, you will discover that a lot of time was devoted to discussing the sustainability of the agro real estate and then sustainability of some practices that are carried out. And so we talked a whole lot about how to carry out practices that are sustainable. And so the mistake that you will make is to indulge in practices that are not sustainable. And then we took our time to actually discuss that practices that do not take into consideration the environmental health of geographical location that is being subject to this practice is a practice that is not sustainable. So we took time to discuss various organic practices which are actually sustainable, that are beneficial to the farmer, beneficial to the environment, beneficial to the society. And so if these are put into place, we'll discover that we are able to, over a long period of time, get return on investment. So these are 10 common mistakes that most farmers make, and why they should be avoided so as to get the maximum return on your investment. At this moment, I want to appeal to our subscribers out there, to our viewers rather, to please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get all of this information as regards sustainability, sustainable practices, and choice of land, choice of crop, the oil palm as one of the best choice crop, and all of those information that will be helpful to you making your decision. You do subscribe, and then you have access to them. Till we meet again, I want to say stay blessed. Thank you very much for listening.